So this episode, I'm gonna talk about why I quit college, why I didn't go to college as a millionaire. So I'm as a new millionaire. So when I went, so when I went to college, right? So when I went to college, I had already like my college was free because I went to the military. So I actually went to war. I actually went I worked my way up to college. So the reason I quit college was I'm gonna tell you like a scenario that was crazy to me that blew my mind, and I was like, this is why I'm gonna quit college. So I had a epiphany, or what they call. So I went in the library, right? And I was like, I logged into YouTube, and then I was like, you know what? This is the same thing that's on my phone. I was like, you know what? I can get in on YouTube right on my phone in my car at my house. And then I started looking at the books, and I was like, I can just pay for this book and listen to this book in my car. Why would I come to the college to read this book? Why would I pay you $12,000 or $50,000, whatever how much college costs, just to come in here to read a book that I can pay for $20? You see what I mean? I'm like, okay, I could read this book for $20. And plus I was already a reader before I even went to college. Like I read all of Robert Greene. So even Robert Greene in itself could teach you that college is a waste, because it's like 10,000 hours, right? So you put in 10,000 hours. I'm actually going to put Mastery as one of my top 5 books, because two of Robert Greene's books is 48 Laws of Power, and now I have to put Mastery up there because 10,000 hours is such a large amount of time. Well, a small amount of time, but it's a large amount of time if you compare that concept, if you compare the book concept. So it takes you 10,000 hours to master something, right? So if I go to college, right, that's hours. That's like 4 or 5 hours. But what are you learning, right? Because it takes 10,000 hours, right? So let's say you're going to learn English, then you're going to learn, I don't know what the fuck they learn. What do they teach in college now? Do they even teach like things that make you a million? I guess you got programming. I'm talking about shit that's gonna make you a lot of money. You got trade school, which is what I would do, because if you're in a trade, then you're gonna build mastery faster. Because if you're a welder, you put in 10,000 hours. Okay, now you're a fucking master welder. You can weld the shit out of shit because you put in 10,000 hours. If you a diesel mechanic, okay, you put in 10,000 hours. You're going to blow shit out the water, right? The cars come in, boom, 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 knocking out. This wheel is out, boom, change oil, boom. You're knocking shit out. You're learning 10,000 hours, right? Mastery. But if you're just going for fucking, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of some shit where it's just a total waste. Like, you're going for, I don't know, English. Let's say you're going to learn English. It's like you already put 10,000 hours into English because you fucking speak it. So you learn English from 4 years old to 18. And you're going to go to school for English. Your 10,000 hours has already been put in. So you're going to put in another, and it's like to make 30K or whatever an English teacher makes, right? No, you don't do that. You're wasting your stacks. Like, to me, mastery is a stack of things, right? So you're stacking masteries. So you're stacking up 10,000 hours. Why you think entrepreneurs get rich? Because they're stacking 10,000 hours. So if they do a clothing, like look at Kanye West, right? So let's take Kanye West for example. Kanye West says, okay, I'm gonna put 10,000 hours into making beats, right? So making beats. So if you're making beats, then you know how to rap a little bit because you're rapping to the beat while you're making it. So you're still putting 10,000 hours. Then you're wearing clothes while you're making the beat. So now you can be a clothing designer. So then you switch and then you switching, but you're putting hours into that at a time. You see what I'm saying? Like you're learning networking because people have to buy the beats. So now you're networking. Boom, boom. This rapper is good. Okay, boom. You're stacking the 10,000 hours into different things. You see what I'm saying? But if you go to college, it's like, okay, English, 2 hours. This, 3 hours. 5 hours. And then now you got to reset to something different the next time. So you're not building any mastery. You're just, you're a schizoid pretty much. It's like college kind of makes you a schizophrenic if you don't line it up correctly. But it still can make you a schizophrenic. That's just what I believe. And then we're not even talking about the debt. Don't even talk about that. It's people that's $100,000 in debt. Like, how in the fuck are you going to pay off $200,000 in debt if you're broke? How? You're a slave. You are a fucking slave. You have to pay that shit off, and you have to find a way to generate a significant amount of profit with what you're already making, because compound interest is almost out the fucking door. You see what I'm saying? So let's just say you have $100K to $200K, right, in debt from college. Where the fuck does compound interest come into play? Like, even if a person has no debt at 29 years old and he has a job making $800 a week with no debt, compound interest is going to come into play because he has no debt. So the interest is going to compound even if he has the old traditional way, right? 2% in the bank or a stock market and all that shit. You got real estate and all, like, that shit is, to me, that's out the door in 2022. Like, that's casino effect. Well, no, I'm not going to say that's casino effect. But what are you going to do? You're going to do a mutual fund? Like, where are you going to get that percentage rate on the compound interest? That's what I'm saying. Like, where are you going to get that on the compound interest? Yeah, you're going to be a millionaire in your 60s or whatever. You see what I mean? If you work that job. Yeah, compound interest. So you're going to kick you. That's good. Like, that's a good route. That's a great route. But the 200K guy in debt, it's like, whew. Even if he's making $1 million to pay that shit off, it's like, man, are you even work? And then you have to work in the field that, like, if you're going to do that, you might as well be a doctor or something. You might as well be a doctor or some shit. If you're going to, like, cause shit, man, like, damn. I don't understand, like, but I'm an entrepreneur, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you compare somebody who make 300, who goes into debt, 300K, and then comes back and makes $1 million in their 50s or 60s. Then you compare somebody like me who could take a 16-year-old kid and show him how to make $50K a month. Minimum. That's what I'm saying. Like, his compound interest is going to be out of this fucking world. Like, he's making $50K a month. So once he hits $1 million, he can teach people. It's a huge snowball in comparison to the guy who has 300K, 200K in debt. Shit. Like, even if the guy, you know what I'm saying? The guy who makes $50K a month with his store Like, even let's just say he's 200K in debt. He's making 50K a month with his store, and the store goes out of business. He can just start a fucking new one because he has the skill to build that store. So his trade, that's a trade. That's a fucking trade. Like, building stores is a trade. In my opinion, it's a trade because it complements other things. Like, a welder complements a mechanic because he can weld a fucking whatever, a bolt or some shit on a car or some shit. Like, I'm not good at repair, but I'm like, I've been in motor pools, so I know a little bit. I've been in welding shops. So he could weld a bolt or some shit. I don't know, a pipe. He can weld a pipe. You know what I'm saying? So it complements that. So I guess a air conditioning technician or a pipe technician or a plumber or shit, they all complement each other. That's the same way as somebody who can build a store. An AdWords guy complements a Facebook guy. A keyword strategist complement a product researcher. Right? It's the same concept. It's just what comes together is a big fucking amount of money. And what comes together with a welder and a diesel guy is, yeah, it's a big amount of money, but it's fire and fucking, science and shit. It comes together and mold together. But a keyword strategist combining with a product research guy, with a Facebook ads guy and a Google shopping guy makes a lot of fucking money. It doesn't make fire and, a nice car and oil and shit. It makes a lot of fucking money. But they still go hand in hand. So that's a trade. It's a trade that you learn. That's why I didn't go to college, because they're not going to teach me that. I've been to college. When I went to college, I was surprised that like AdWords, Facebook ads, like Google shopping, like e-com. I was surprised that this shit wasn't even on a curriculum. I'm like, y'all don't teach people this shit? Y'all don't teach people how to start an LLC and put their bank account on a shop and just run some ads and how to pricing and how to set up an email funnel and how to... I'm like, they don't teach this shit? I'm like, shit. Like, a kid that learns this shit, he's going to blow it. I'm like, if you take a team, if you, like, let's just say you got a college and they start some shit called e-com teams. Like, that team of 4, like, let's say you got a team. I'm going to switch this to the next episode.